Right, well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, global population, Sam Fisher here. Say hello, Will.
Hey, Fortnite, can I have a pirate peely?
Oh, what?
A
Pirate, it's not very appealing, is it? Ah, very funny, I'm so hilarious. Right, let's get on it. Right, from the title to this video, most of you are going, what the hell's your blooming Irish video? Thought you were every part 2 in the UK. Well, yes, I was, but then I thought, after it was pointed out to me, why don't you do a recap first, a 1.5 as it were, which I thought was a very good idea, because then people who aren't up to speed with everything what I've gone over so far will know what's coming, and it'll really help for the Irish one. But
You watched G.I. Joe?
yes, when I was a kid. I don't now because I can't find it. Anyway, so I thought it was a good idea because you'll need to know what's got me to the island, sort of the Irish angle to all this, because it does tie everything together. It's brilliant. But you need to know why it ties it together. All the background first before you get to that, right? So it'll give you a refresher as well, the people that have been watching me for a while. Right. This all started years ago, yeah? This whole idea of all wars being fought over, well, basically to hide the fact that they were locating and retrieving ancient human technology all over the world. And I first came across it with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it started getting me thinking about Cuba. Well, why were they looking for there? Because of all the other stuff that they found in Cuba and around Cuba. But I kept putting it to one side, yeah. I kept coming back to it, and then I put it to one side, coming back to it, find something else, put it back to it.
Well, going back for an all...
Yeah, we're going for that long walk again. It wasn't until 2022 when Putin invaded Ukraine that I remembered a few things that I'd heard many years before that that happened about some finds in Crimea, right? There was a guy called Vitaly Gore, a professor, yeah? He was a physics professor, and he invented a new form of LiDAR. Basically, it's a geophysical device that can actually detect sort of structures underground and all sorts of other stuff, yeah? But his version of LiDAR was, he developed it to detect water, aquifers, and his LiDAR was so precise it could tell you how deep these aquifers were and what was actually inside them, yeah? Whether it was actually pure water or whether it was even an aquifer, yeah? Sometimes it's not, sometimes it's an oil patch or some other sort of liquid. Whilst he was testing this on a conservational park, which in Crimea, just outside of Sevastopol in Crimea, he discovered under the ground, under 65 million years of rock, a pyramidal structure, huge, absolutely massive. It's about 1.5 times the size of the one in Giza, yeah? It has Mesoamerican and Egyptian characteristics all over it, yeah? This information was then suppressed, and Vitaly Gore unfortunately died he made the discovery in 1999, I think it was, and he died around 2001. And then it wasn't until 2011 when his notes were discovered, were found, and people started reading them, that we found out about about that pyramid. What?
Oh yeah, that 2001 was the year of 9/11.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Right, go on. That's not the only one though. There's a crescent moon of them going off the coast, yeah? Far smaller, though, the ones off the coast of Crimea. That's the only one that's on the land and it's underground. When Putin got wind of this in 2014, immediately, as soon as the Minsk Accords collapsed, he went straight into Crimea, yeah, annexed Crimea. He said because they were asking him to do, which they were, but it was a good excuse, yeah. But rather than send out all his troops to guard all the infrastructure like you would, yeah, in any sort of invasion or any sort of takeover of land, the first thing you do is you take over the infrastructure and guard the borders, yeah. So you make sure you got people next to the gas plants, the power plants, you know, everything, yeah, railway stations, blah blah blah. He didn't do that. He sent the largest contingent of his troops to that area where that pyramid was and surrounded it, yeah. 2020, after making about 3 or 4 sort of personal dives himself, yeah. Putin, for those who don't know, is a badass. Yeah, he's a very experienced scuba diver. Can drive submersibles. He's like 7th degree black belt in judo, all sorts of other stuff. Yeah, very into Eastern philosophy. The guy is a very strategic thinker. Anyway, 2020, right in the middle of a pandemic, he decides he's going to set up a marine archaeology department in St. Petersburg, yeah? Why is that unusual? Well, for one, St. Petersburg is nowhere near land. I mean, nowhere near water, yeah?
That's my old school.
It is, yeah. It was your old school, it was, yeah. Your old primary school. It's about 1,000 miles away from any sort of body of water, yeah? Also, strangely, they only ever went to one place, and that was the Black Sea, specifically around the Crimean coast. Yeah, in the roughly just over 18 months, yeah, to 2 years of the St. Petersburg Marine Archaeology Department being set up, they made 148 dives around the Crimean coast. Yeah, why were they making that many? Now, I always thought this were unusual. Yeah, for those who don't know, I've got a friend over in Russia. I've known him a very long time. Anatoly, fantastic bloke. He's an ex, I think he's naval Spetsnaz. Yeah, which basically is the naval special forces. He's a bit like a Navy SEAL. So he's you know, been diving off the coast of there all the time, taking part in all them dives. Which is another thing about the Russians that not many people know. Departments like the Marine Archaeology Department, they will only ever send experienced divers, and because most archaeologists aren't experienced divers, but a lot of their former special forces are, they use them, yeah. It's now, since the war started, they've disbanded the Marine Archaeology Department, obviously, because they needed all the retirees, and he's now training Russian troops. So he's not near the front line, which is good. He's a top bloke, really nice guy. Anyway, so all that happens, yeah. 2022 comes along, and the first thing, right, that Putin does is he hops over the Belarusian border and he surrounds the entire Chernobyl exclusion zone, yeah, which is a vast area, yeah, covering Pripyat and several other different towns and cities all over the place, yeah, before he then carries on to push into Donbass. And he only goes to Donbass, yeah, he only takes over that area and stops. Now again, his excuse is that the Donbass people want freeing, which is true, right? But the Ukrainians have been doing this for 8 years, yeah. NATO pushing up to his border would give him another excuse, yeah. But these guys were all in on it, yeah? NATO, Putin, they're all in on it. This is why, yeah? Roughly, think about 2 or 3 months, yeah, before Putin hopped over the border of Belarus, like to take over Chernobyl, Ghislaine Maxwell from prison did an interview where she said some very bizarre things. When they asked her how it was in prison, the first thing she said was, well, the food that I've got resembles something like that out of Chernobyl, yeah? Everyone's going, well, that sounds a bit disgusting. But not many people sort of picked up on that, right? But then she starts talking about an imaginary friend that she has. This imaginary friend has a very strange name. It's A17. Now everyone was sat there thinking, what does she mean by A17? What's that going on about? Loads of people were thinking it was to do with Trump and Mar-a-Lago, yeah? And a box labelled A17 that no one's really sure what's in it, yeah? I didn't think that, obviously. I had other things on my mind. I knew that there were already discoveries in Crimea. There've been countless different discoveries in the whole of the Donbass region as well, right, which we'll get to. But as soon as I heard Chernobyl, and then I heard A17, my mind went back many years to when I was researching the Chernobyl disaster. Now, for those who don't know, my great uncle was part of the cleanup, the UK's cleanup committee for Chernobyl. Yeah, and so I went out there to visit it and everything else. He used to be a nuclear inspector for the UN, a UN nuclear inspector. Yeah, he basically oversaw the Chinese nuclear power plants that they started building not long before he died. Anyway, so I've seen maps of that Chernobyl exclusion zone, loads, yeah, seen them for years. The great uncle had massive ones on his wall, right. But I remembered that a lot of each area of the radiation, yeah, each level of radiation was lettered and numbered, yeah. So you get a letter for the actual band that it's in, yeah, A being the weakest, and I think it's D being the strongest, yeah. There might be more than that. But I remember A being the weakest, yeah. So I went online and I searched for ages, yeah, ages and ages and ages and ages. And then I found A17. Now this is where it gets interesting, right? A17 in the exclusion zone is in the weakest radiation band, right? Remember that, weakest radiation band, yeah? In the strongest radiation band, even aerial photos show trees growing, yeah? Trees undamaged. Right, go on then. But in this one area, just where A17 is, yeah, that entire forest is dead, decimated, supposedly by the radiation. I thought it was the weakest one. I know, that's what I thought.
There's a house.
There is a house, yeah. It gets better.
In the wood.
You see, just below that is a village called Kapachi. Kapachi is very unusual in that area. In fact, any area that's been contaminated by nuclear fallout as well. Why? Because they buried it. No one knows why. But they left 4 key buildings, right? In certain parts of it, it's the police station, the local school, the town hall. I think it's the high school, yeah, as well.
You go that tree, Dad.
No, I did do, don't worry. All of these have very, very large basements, very deep basements, right? Remember that as well. Kapachi and the Red Forest, which is what they called the forest that's been decimated just outside of Kapachi, which is they probably killed that forest to make the excuse for getting people out of Kapachi, yeah, Kapachi village, the village of Kapachi. Those two are slap bang in the middle of a triangle of some very interesting buildings. To the north is a building called the Jupiter Communications Factory. Yeah, the Jupiter Communications Factory was set up to manufacture cassette tape and recording equipment and all sorts of other stuff, yeah, for the spies to use and to be used in interrogations and blah 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 blah. The thing is, even the people that worked at the plant don't remember there being 1 inch of magnetic tape being manufactured at that plant, right? No one knows what they were doing there. Even the people that were working there don't exactly know what they were doing there. They were getting paid and just sitting around. So what's that about? Yeah?
It's the woods.
Yeah, nice way. To the southwest, yeah?
Are we going that way?
No, we're going this way because we've already been that way. To the southwest, west even, this way, there's the Duga 1 radar station. Now Duga 1 is extremely special because it was the first over the horizon radar station that was ever made. Yeah? It could basically detect planes coming at it from hundreds of miles away. Well,
are we going that way?
No, we're going this way. And it's huge, yeah? It's very loud as well. The ham radio enthusiasts managed to pick it up on the radios, like the actual noise that the radar station was making, and called it the woodpecker. Yeah, you could pick it up in anywhere around the world. And they called it the woodpecker because of the noise that it kept making, yeah? No one knew for ages what it was. The thing is absolutely massive, yeah? Next to the radar station, it's got its own bunker, yeah? Its own radar communications monitor bunker, yeah, monitoring bunker basically, and it's got all the equipment in there. That goes extremely deep, yeah? No one's entirely sure how deep it goes. There are theories that it actually stretches out to the Jupiter radar station in the north, and also to the east, yeah. So it goes up in a triangle like that. To the east is another site. This is the Lavrov missile ground-to-air missile platform. That's what they called it, right? Now, this thing looks just like a... No, we're going that way. Go that way. Looks like just any old sort of concrete doorway, yeah, in the middle of nowhere. But when you go down inside, it stretches down 3 levels and goes about 10-20 miles out in radius all the way around. Yes, absolutely huge, right? And no one, well, to be fair, no one knows exactly how big it is. Yeah, they don't know exactly. They just have a general idea from what they've been able to sort of map out. But they know it's bigger in places. Well, that's all very good. Well, so what? None of these sites are made by the USSR. All of them, including the ones that are underneath Pripyat, yeah, which is why they moved the people out of Pripyat in the first place. All of them were made by a very ancient, very highly technologically advanced civilization. What? The whole of the Donbass region in the Ukraine,
yeah,
has sites everywhere, all over it.
this is the worst.
Yeah, it's all muddy. This was your idea.
That is we should go to the white world.
Well, we're all right now. We're getting through it. The whole of the Donbass region is full of underground sort of complexes. Yeah, there's where most of the fierce fighting is in Bakhmut, right? No one can understand why they're fighting over Bakhmut. They say it's because it's a supply line, but there's other ways you can get supplies around, right? It's nothing to do with that. Underneath Bakhmut, there is a supposed salt mine, yeah, that stretches out in a radius of about 246 kilometres, yeah, wide, yeah, in all directions. It's 10 levels deep. it's a lot of salt. There's a lot of it that's closed off, yeah. So people have often wondered, why is it that big? What else is in there, yeah? Because it can't just be for salt. You can't. It's just too massive, yeah. Not far from there, just outside of Donbass itself, yeah, the Donbass city, Donetsk, sorry. There was, in fact, it's probably a stone's throw away from that salt mine, yeah. From the actual one of its widest points. In that mine, they found encased in rock a cogwheel. It's millions of years old, yeah. In Odessa, and these are the ones that are acknowledged, yeah. There is a 3-level complex, tunnel complex. It's about 20 miles in radius, yeah. Oh, rabbits! Hold on, where's it gone? Let's bug it off, can't see it now. Right.
Loads of rabbits.
Yeah, loads of rabbits, but there's a 3-level one there underneath Odessa, yeah. Now they say it was made in Georgian times, yeah, 1700s. No. Because you look at the stonework in that, and then you look at all the other ancient tunnel complexes there are around the world. Looks exactly the same, yeah. There's nothing in that one. That's why they left it. That's why they left Odessa alone, yeah. After they fought over it for ages, and then decided, oh, sod it, we'll leave. Their main target was underneath and just outside of Mariupol, yeah. The Sea of Azov coast. 2015, a guy called Yuri Shilov wrote a book called The Ancient History of Ukraine, of Arata, Ukraine, yeah, from 20,000 BCE to around 6,000 BCE, yeah. And as soon as he brought that out, it was immediately suppressed. We'll have a sit down for a minute. If you can get a copy of it, you'll be lucky. And Amazon keep upping it in price as well now as well.
Ah, look.
Well, yeah, I know, it's in memory of someone, I've forgotten who it is. But Amazon keep upping the price of it. Even physical copies, most definitely. PDF they are doing now as well. What?
Can we go to Edmund Street?
No, I haven't got any money on me. So. Right. Now in that, he details quite a lot, yeah.
Oh, Dave.
Oh, it's a Dave, is it? Oh, right, okay. One of the things, Dave. One of the finds is, first of all, a rock wall just outside of Sevastopol in Crimea, right? That has, it looks like Paleo-Hebrew, right? But it's older than any of the Paleo-Hebrew you found anywhere, yeah? Apart from one other place, which we'll get to later, right? They also found what they thought was just a new culture called the Tripalia, yeah, which is, they found that just outside of the Azovstal steelworks. Yeah, if you don't know what the Azovstal steelworks is, yeah, it's a huge complex that's the size of a city itself, just outside of Mariupol. Yeah, it's literally the size of Mariupol. Yeah, beneath it, it's got a 3-layered catacomb. Yeah, no one knows why it's there. They won't build that complex above the mine, yeah, because it'll fall through. Yeah, it's pointless. So that only means that, naturally, they didn't build it. Yeah. It became pretty apparent over the years, another thing that they tried to suppress, that these were the origin of the Arata civilization, an ancient mythical civilization that Gilgamesh speaks of, and the Sumerian tombs speak of quite a lot. Yeah. Many people get Gilgamesh wrong, right? When he's going to find the immortal called Utnapishtim, who's a biblical Noah, right? He is the source of the biblical Noah, this Utnapishtim figure. he says that he travels over several mountain ranges, yeah, north, across several mountain ranges, and across a sea of death, right? To get to the place where Utnapishtim is, and he says it's in the ruins of an ancient civilization called the Errata, yeah? And he falls asleep there, and he ends up having a dream where he fights the spirits of 3 Erratan kings, and as soon as he wakes up, he goes right through this gateway that he finds. Now, for some reason, everyone assumes that what Gilgamesh was talking about was another culture in Iran called the Gematria that were contemporary to the Sumerians. He said north. Iran's east. I know I get my left and right wrong, but if you get up, left, down and right wrong, he said north. Several mountain ranges. I think there's one between Iraq and Iran, yeah? Doesn't sound right, does it? No, no. Sea of Death. Well, between Iraq and Iran, there's no body of water. One notable feature about the Black Sea, it's virtually dead. There's nothing in it, yeah? Fishing there's pointless. Gets lots of jellyfish, but it's too acidic. It wasn't always that way though, yeah? They know that. Because of the amount of lapis that was found, that was supposedly there at one point, but has mysteriously disappeared. To find traces of it. So they know it was at one point, and then all of a sudden something happened that made it very acidic. Yeah? Same thing with the Caspian Sea, yeah, which is on the other side of Georgia. Yeah, Georgia's got 2 coasts, one on the Black Sea, one on the Caspian. The Caspian's been losing water for God knows how long. Yeah, very, very long time. No one knows why. But that too is also quite acidic. Shiloh became convinced that what they were looking at wasn't a new culture called the Tripalia. The Tripalia was in fact the capital of a massive civilization. Not only were they a massive civilization, they were always very highly technologically advanced, yeah? But that was the bit that he couldn't prove. Not conclusively, yeah? Then they started finding ruins, yeah? That you could tell was stretching into the Azovstal complex, yeah? But they couldn't go in there, obviously, because it was a working steelworks. But they discovered that the way these people built their cities, yeah? You're going to love this. Was a band of land, a band of water, a band of land, a band of water, and a band of land, yeah? Does that sound familiar? Those of you who've been researching Atlantis for a long time will know exactly what I mean when I say that, and what that represents. This is why his work was suppressed, because he realised that no, what people are assuming is the errata, yeah? Right, we'll go that way. We'll go that way. What people are assuming is the errata, yeah? Weren't the errata at all, never were. What the errata were was a pre-history civilization, highly technologically advanced civilization that in fact seeded the vast majority of cultures around the Eurasian continent and Europe. All of that Black Sea Basin area was their main focus of their empire, and they focused everything in that one area. Yeah. All the talk of all the stories about the tablets of destiny with Inanna and everything else. Inanna was the ruler of Errata. She lived there. Yeah. It was a mining colony, a mining city. They were mining lapis lazuli. Why were they doing that? Because it's incredibly versatile as a technological sort of, as a technology itself. It can store energy, it can store information because it's pretty much 100% pure quartz. You name it, this material does it. And this is the basis for the story of the Tablets of Destiny legend. Why? Because the Tablets of Destiny were a control system. for something else. What was that something else? Well, it was always said that the tablets of destiny gave you access to immense power, yeah, but also to immense knowledge as well, yeah. So what could that be, I wondered. And I started hearing about the Black Knight satellite. It's not actually black, contrary to popular belief. It is in fact green, a deep green. This thing has been floating around in our orbit for over 10,000 years at the very least. Do you know that?
What?
Yeah, no, I won't get that light. I'm not that tall.
You're not that tall.
No. People say it's aliens that put it there. No, they didn't. We did. The Errata were human. They weren't alien. Yeah, in Anna, all the Anunnaki, everything, were all ancient humans. May have been probably taller than us, but they were all ancient humans. Yeah, a very ancient race of humans. Because of their advanced technology, they appeared like gods to primitive people. Yeah, primitive hunter-gatherers. Which is why everyone assumed that they were gods, yeah, around that Sumeria area, which is where they ran off to after a huge war. And it was over those tablets of destiny, right? She hid them in Anna, yeah, because everyone's going on about a comet strike, right, that ended the last ice age and caused the Younger Dryas, yeah. I don't think it was. I think it was a weapon. I think it was an orbital beam weapon, the only orbital beam weapon that's actually up there that can actually hit the Earth. And that's because it's not entirely, it's not like a laser as we think, yeah? Those tablets control that. And she didn't want any of her brothers to get it, yeah? That's what they were fighting over. Because she knew what Marduk was like, she knew what Nurgle was like. They were both evil bastards. So was she, but not as evil. Apparently. We were getting up to some very horrendous stuff with genetic experiments and all sorts of other things, doing things we should never have been meddling with, including bringing something forth, yeah, from the ether. And that's why Inanna fired the weapon, yeah, to basically wipe out all her brothers civilizations. And unfortunately, her own civilization, yeah, the Errata, the remnants of which survived and, like I said, became the Anunnaki. Now, to hide where the tablets were, it's always been said that she hid them on Earth, yeah? Where would she hide them on Earth? She'd hide them somewhere where she knew they were close by so she could get to them and keep an eye on them, yeah? And somewhere where they could be hidden very, very effectively. And she hid them under the Black Sea before she filled it. What? Georgia, yeah, one of the last episodes that I did, well, the one before the UK one, Georgia has a massive gravity pump in there that's conveniently, it's in slap bang in the middle of Georgia, in between the landmass that is slap bang in the middle of the landmass between the Black and the Caspian, yeah, seas. Caspian Sea's been losing water, the Black Sea's not been losing water, it's just been getting more acidic. There are pools that stretch out from where this gravity pump inside a mountain exists, yeah? They stretch out, that no one knows how deep they go, no one knows why they're acidic and nothing lives in them, no one knows why they're so big, yeah? But when you start learning about Canaries, and all of a sudden it comes to your head, yeah? This is all, I mean, there's so much more to do with the Errata and the Black Sea area, right? That it's going to take more episodes going into there. But I needed to find out where they came from, yeah? Because there's elements all around, yeah? The Black Sea sort of cultures, mythologies, yeah? In Romania and Bulgaria and Ukraine, Georgia, Turkey, yeah? All of them. Even the Scythians, yeah, which we know very little about, but they all match up to this, yeah, and some of the Afghan sort of law as well, the Pashtun law, right? All of them mould into one story that these people came from across the Black Sea to create this pump, to create this mechanism inside the mountain. Literally brought the mountain down, yeah, the top of the mountain, and then rebuilt it around this structure, yeah, around the gravity pump structure, right, to hide something, to hide a weapon, yeah. I mean, this gets into some seriously crazy stuff, and this is linked to the St George myths of Georgia, right, which links them to the UK, right. So then I started thinking, well, why are they in the UK, yeah? Why is it linked to, what's going on with the UK? Then I remember Doggerland. Very recently they found a city, yeah? They said, oh, they were just tribal cultures, just hunter-gatherers. There was quite a lot of them to make a city, and hunter-gatherers don't make cities. They wander around normally and not reside anywhere. So that got me thinking. So I started looking at Doggerland, started looking at the UK's culture, started looking at British culture, British myths, to see if I could find any correlations across Europe that pointed towards the errata, and I did. The first one was St George. That was an easy one, yeah. People often wonder why there's a connection between Georgia and England. Why have they got the same patron saint? Why have they got the same sort of myths and legends, yeah? Why have they got their own Arthurian figure, yeah? So it was like, okay, all right, well that's definitely there, but they link to all the other ones around the Black Sea area, yeah? And then they start stretching out up throughout Europe, yeah? The next nodal point is France, yeah? From Doggerland, yeah? And above there is the Scandinavian cultures. They are, Norse myth is very, very close to every single other one, and I believe is probably older than the vast majority of them, yeah? The vast majority of the ancient mythologies out there, yeah? Jack the Giant Killer, the story of Jack the Giant Killer, yeah, that stems from that ancient Doggerland culture. It's the Doggerland culture, yeah, the Doggerland civilization that was basically the seed for the errata, and it was a flood that killed them, that like displaced them too, yeah. Some of them went off towards the mainland UK, yeah, mainland England and Scotland. I don't know if we can get down there, we'll try, yeah, go on then. Mainland Scotland, yeah. Some of them went off, like I said, to Scandinavia, and the rest went through Europe from France, yeah. But they all seem to meet up, apart from the ones in the UK. All the other ones seem to spread out around and then down towards the Black Sea, and they all ended up in that Black Sea area for some reason, yeah. And ever since then, they've been gravitating around that area, yeah.
I think the neighbour's house.
All right, well, we can't go that way then. Every sort of invasion, like with the Mongols, with the Hun, with Russia, with the Nazis, especially the Nazis, yeah. All of them seem to gravitate, even the Syrians, all of them seem to gravitate around that Black Sea area. They keep going out and then coming back in, and going out and coming back in, yeah. They do the same across to the UK as well, yeah. I still haven't worked that side of it out yet properly. There are reasons for that though. I'm still working on that. Now, you get all the tales of the Duke of Lancaster and everything else fighting giants, yeah. There's always giants in UK mythology. It's the same with Georgian myth, yeah. A lot of Georgian myth involves a lot of giant people, or at least, at the very least, people that are taller than the average human, yeah. Now, in some of the mythologies, the giants are slaves, yeah. They're conquered people, yeah. And some of them were their slaves, yeah. But there's always some sort of giant battle between the two, yeah, where something happened and the giants disappeared. Jack the Giant Killer is slated as the cause in British mythology. Yes, I know, Will. I fell over. Keep pointing this out. But he's touted as being the cause of why there's no giants left in the UK, because he killed them all. Yeah. His grave is under St Michael's Mount. It's one of the proposed locations for his grave, and the other one is a lake somewhere in the south of Wales. Both of them have man-made islands in them. Both of them are touted as being the gravesite of Jack the Giant Killer and of his his favourite trophy, which was the two-headed giant, whose name absolutely escapes me at the moment, right? But I'll leave it across the bottom there. Now, not only have I been finding loads of stuff in the folklore and everything else, right, but loads of hints as well in the mythologies and folklores of all of Europe, yeah, especially the Black Sea and again the UK. Yeah. Oh, thanks for that. All of them like intimate some sort of high technology that this civilization had. Yeah, they were doing amazing stuff. I mean, taking down the mountain and rebuilding it around this structure that they just built, right? Well, it takes a pretty high degree of technology, yeah. But finding stuff everywhere, evidence of them everywhere. Especially in the UK as well, yeah. Some of the stuff we've found, right, that baffles archaeologists, like the man-made islands in Coniston, or quite a lot of the lakes, the man-made locks in Scotland, the 50 chalk caverns in Hangman's Forest, Ulfnar's Grot, I think it's called, which is just a grotto that's covered in seashells that no one knows who built it or how old it is. St Michael's Mount, there's a Gower Peninsula. These guys were very advanced. They were advanced enough to build all of that around the UK and a huge strip mine that is now the Black Sea. But all these St George legends, all the Arthurian legends, all of them,
Hey Dad.
all of them pale in comparison to what you get from the Irish myth. And that's where we're going next. Anyway, that's a recap over and done with. Now you know all this, the next episode will make absolute sense. Well,
What's your favourite G.I. Joe character?
I don't know, Destro maybe, Cobra Commander. No, Snake Eyes actually, Snake Eyes or Stone Shadow, they're a race. I love ninjas. I wanted to be a ninja when I was a kid. Very nearly was. I mean, learning sort of martial arts and whatnot, like, you know, not an actual ninja. Anyway, it's beside the point.
You like
So,
Snake Eyes?
share.
Subscribe, you know the drill, see it like. Oh yeah,
What?
You played Fortnite once.
Yeah, I played Fortnite once and it was full of 14-year-old kids that won't let me do what I want. And when I said, no, I'm going over here, they kicked me. So I never played it again. Anyway, see you later.
And you just go, well, we'll be immobilized, I'll have a band, or my cell phone, and they'll know where I am, and I won't be able to move, and I won't be able to do it. And all of this is potentially true. But there's an equal case for the possibility of bringing